Good evening.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna have to wait for a few more folks to join, I think.
I did hear from Lauren that she would not be able to make it tonight. But that doesn't look like it matters because it looks like we have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. I'm just bringing up the agenda here. Sorry, I was running a little late today. I always forget where the agenda comes from. What's the email address? Do we remember?
It should be from Shelley. So S. Warwick. If not, I can forward it to you if you need.
I'm looking it up here.
I think the agenda is City of Inglewood is the.
Yeah, it should be City of Inglewood.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Well, it goes to that portal. That's the agenda.
All right, I just forwarded that agenda to you, Matt.
Okay. All right, well, I got it. It's weird. It actually doesn't come from the city of Inglewood. It comes from CW dot something or C.W or whatever.
Huh.
That's the portal that you guys use, and I can always cannot remember that. There we go. I lost my video there. All right.
I have it up. If you'd like me to share my screen, I can just put it where we can all look at it. If
Nope, I got it here. Sorry about the delay, guys. All right. Call the meeting to order, 6:33 p.m. Eric, would you mind doing a roll call?
Sure. Chair Matt Crabtree.
Present.
Vice Chair Cash Parker.
Here.
CJ Cullinan.
Here.
Melinda Ellswick.
here,
Jason O'Brien.
Here.
Hannah Miles. Looks like she is absent at the moment. And Lauren Cooper is absent. Also notable for staff present this evening, there's Eric Sampson with Community Development and Brian Isom from Community Development, Madeline Hinkfuss and Lucia Magnuson from Communications. And also present is Sean Fallon from Pinion Environmental. And Cheryl Wink is absent.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Moving on to the approval of minutes from our previous meeting. That was August 17th. Is there a motion to approve?
I would motion to approve the minutes as is.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Linda? Any discussion? Okay.
No.
Take a vote to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Public forum, don't see anybody from the public tonight, do we? Let's see, nope. Who's Luis? Louisa is she with the city?
Yes, she'll be here to talk
She's in
about the
marketing.
website.
Okay, she's part of marketing, okay. All righty, then moving on to the first order of business, which is old business. Neighborhood maps update. Madeline?
Excuse me, Matt, if it's okay with people, I was going to motion to move the October discussion of the October 10th presentation, since we have Sean Fallon from outside of, the city here with us.
I agree. Second.
That's good. All right. I don't know if there's any other formal process that needs to be done with that, other than just moving the order of the agenda. Eric?
Just a quick vote.
Okay.
From
All
the commissioners.
right. All in favor of adjusting the order of the agenda this evening?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Not hearing any. Okay.
All right, you're good.
Then we will move on to the first topic of October 10th presentation of the historic survey to City Council. I believe Sean Fallon is available to discuss this tonight. This is a continuation of, I believe, a discussion that we were going to have before, and it got pushed to October 10th. Sean, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sean, can you
Absolutely.
put your picture on or no?
I can, yeah. I've been having some video trouble today. It's been cutting out my mic, but that was on Teams, so maybe it'll work better on Zoom.
I see you. Thank you.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. And yeah, so my name is Sean Fallon. I'm the technical group manager at Pinion Environmental. You all have previously been working with my predecessor, Ashley Bushy, who, and I have since kind of taken over her role and as a result of this project, and am kind of here to just help facilitate the kind of taking this across the finish line and helping with the final presentation. I was tangentially related, helped on the project and did quite a bit of the GIS work on the back end, so I'm passingly familiar with what happened and did help on the technical side a little bit. But yeah, it's great to be here. It's great to meet all of you. I'm sorry we weren't able to meet this last time around, but I'm here and yeah, happy to answer any questions. And Eric, I don't know if there was anything specific you were kind of expecting, but yeah, I'm like I said, I'm available and happy to chat.
Yeah, I think the idea is just to go over the presentation on the 10th.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think just kind of order the presentation, just kind of understand exactly how the presentation is expected to be delivered to council, topics that were going to be raised, any kind of do we have any visuals or anything like that, like a PowerPoint slide deck?
Yep. So yeah, there is a PowerPoint presentation that's been prepared that essentially summarizes the final report, which I think everybody here has seen. Is that correct?
The final report. I don't think we've seen the slide deck.
Awesome. I'm happy to share the slide deck.
I believe this is the one that Ashley had done at our Hamden Hall meeting.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Same slide deck.
Yeah, we were there.
Okay.
So then, Eric and I had kind of previously chatted a little bit about what the presentation will look like, and we're thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe like a 15-minute go through and kind of summarize. We'll go through the PowerPoint presentation, which again, like I said, summarizes that final report, and then have a period at the end for kind of a Q&A, and really, pretty simple presentation. The slide deck itself is robust. I think getting through it is, in that short amount of time, might be a little bit of a challenge, but I think with a little bit of practice we can do it.
Kind of starting around the room here. Jason, do you have any questions or anything you'd like to bring up as pointers for the presentation?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, we kind of saw that presentation at the previous meeting. I think there's, like you said, that was kind of more tailored to a little kind of like a public presentation. So I don't know, you might be looking towards time-wise, just kind of, kind of editing some stuff down, I guess, is just kind of from my recollection of the last one. It was really good presentation, but yeah, just time-wise, I'm sure there's probably some stuff, but yeah, otherwise I don't think I have any kind of questions or stuff for that.
Have we seen it since then? Because there was some editing, a couple of pictures that needed to be changed.
That I'm not sure. Eric, do you know if when the most recent version was. I think the most up-to-date version I have is from June.
And was that before she left? Or
That
right
was kind
after
of
she
right
left?
right as she was leaving. Yeah.
And when was our presentation?
I looked that up. Let's see here.
Was it that June meeting? Like,
Okay, she left real soon after that then, huh?
Yeah, it happened really quickly.
August.
So should we take a gander at it one more time just to make sure those pictures did get changed?
I think we
Yeah,
should.
that'd be-
I agree with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd be happy to share my screen and we can kind of run through it and address any kind of comments or concerns or anything like that. So let me know if you all can you see my screen?
not yet.
How about,
Trying. Ta-da!
yeah?
Mhm.
Awesome.
I see
Okay,
it.
cool. So yeah, this should be looking familiar. Like, so we'll have to update. And to Jason's point, yeah, this was kind of designed as a public presentation. So I guess that brings up a good point. Is the intent then is just for this to be a presentation to the council? Is there kind of a public component to this, or is it just in this general forum here?
It's a presentation to the city council that is made public for transparency.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
if you could
Yep.
alter that underneath, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just kind of click through here, and I'm sure this is looking familiar to the group here. Do you recall what photos were requested to be swapped out?
It definitely had to do with the house or two, wasn't it? Matt, go ahead and how about this? We'll just hoot and holler if we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem, yeah.
I think before we go too far with the slide, so primarily it was actually in the report itself. The report, some of the pages, and this may go towards the end of this. This looks like a pretty typical slide deck, so this may not have the historic information, but the actual report itself included some information that needed to be updated.
Okay. I
So
have that here.
yeah, if you scroll to the end, I know one of them that was pretty easy was the Scarrett House was listed as not listed as the Scarrett House. But,
In the was it in the table itself?
well, I don't think it was actually. I think it was missing from this table here too. Actually, real fast, scroll up here. What the section that you're referring to is national? Okay, so there was state funded.
Good.
There was state funding that was done for the Scarrett House, but I don't believe it is actually registered.
Gotcha.
So
It
it
is
would-
not, that was one of our projects, was to register the Scarrett House.
Yeah,
But, as I recall, the reason it isn't listed in the 19th century houses is that for some reason, the county lists it as having been built in 1911.
yeah, that's correct. And I believe that's because there was a large remodel that happened in 1911 at that point, and they may have changed the records. But go ahead and scroll towards the end. There's a
Sure.
listing of pictures, and it shows some of the houses that are.
Let's see. Trying not to give you guys motion sickness here.
All good.
Oh,
It's probably, if you want to jump, just probably jump to like page 90 or so. There's quite a ways from the end there.
oops. So it was in the table itself.
Yeah, it was actually. So scroll, where are we at? 1956. So you're going to be probably about 5 pages ahead of this,
Yeah. Let's do 19.
maybe more than 5, 10. By the report, 26, 18,
11.
16. Go and stop there. 11. Scroll up a little more. Scarrett House still registers. It's still listed in 1911. The changes weren't made to this.
Okay.
And there should be some pretty significant interest put on the Scared House, because this is I mean, this is kind of the founding individual of this area, right? I mean, this
For
is
sure.
the very first home built in Inglewood. Broadway, the story goes with Broadway, he created Broadway. There was, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, but I think there was like cherry groves or something like that, or some agricultural around this that he started.
Forgive me, don't remember that part.
Um,
But he did make Broadway. He would, yeah, definitely was taking his produce to downtown.
Right.
Mhm.
And he was.
The other thing is too, it was also invested on by Denver, Historic Denver.
Historic Denver, and I
Yeah.
think state of Colorado, some historic fund, and Jason may know more about this. Like I always get that mixed up. I know that there was state money that was put into this for its restoration.
Well, it was one of those things when I called him from the Inglewood Commission.
Mhm.
He was like, I think for he being the chiropractor that's housed there, he says,
Mhm.
I think for everything, we will do whatever you guys tell us to do. Because Historic Denver had done everything before. And so he kind of felt that he wasn't supposed to change anything at all, and that it was because of Historic Denver.
I mean, there was a lot of work that was done on the inside. There's no doubt. But anyway, yeah, Sean, this is definitely inaccurate, and there was a couple other inaccuracies in there, and I believe they were handwritten on the actual paper that was one of the paper versions that was distributed at that event. I would imagine that if Ashley had left just shortly after this, that those changes probably weren't incorporated. But
You're probably right, but I can definitely track that. I'm sure she kept great notes. So I'm sure if there were additional revisions that need to be made, I'm sure those were captured somewhere, and I can definitely make this, or I can make those provisions, no problem.
okay, what
Do
anybody
I
else?
understand that council is going to be given copies of the final report, hard copies?
We can
They
definitely
will be
produce.
given, they'll have digital copies in the council communications prior to the presentation.
All right, well, this is good. It's good that we made ahead of this, because we want to make sure that this information is correct.
Yeah,
we wanna
absolutely.
make sure
I was
that-
kind of under the impression that this had a bow on it and it was pretty much ready to go out the door. So I'm definitely glad that we're meeting now and are able to capture. some
I just wish I knew what those other notes were. I think there were only like 3 or 4 things that were pointed out, but
Okay.
There were a couple points, but if you can find that information, and obviously you have to work through the staff liaison, which is Eric. And if you can, when you make the changes, if you could identify that to Eric, and if Eric could, if you could let the board know the changes that were made, that may help kind of spur some of the spur our memories a little bit, and hopefully.
so we do we know the year that it was built? The Scared House?
1864,
Thank you.
I believe, yeah.
let's make sure.
Let's see here.
That was one thing Arapahoe County was just terrible on. Whenever there was major changes, models that went through permit or something, they just made that the new year.
Yeah, or actually, it's I don't want to get too far off topic here, but it is kind of interesting, right? Arapahoe County, the original Arapahoe County courthouse. This was prior to Denver, actually being the city and county of Denver. So Arapahoe County courthouse was in downtown. Caught fire right around 1890, and most of the property records, I think it was late 1890, sometime around that. The property records at that point got lost. So anything, not that there's much left in Denver that was built prior to 1900, but most of the property records are estimated.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. It's throughout the city, really throughout the state. The record is notoriously inaccurate.
These ones that end on the even like 1860, 1880, 1890, that's
Mhm.
actually an indication that that's an estimated record, because they
Mhm.
just estimated its construction date. It probably was, I don't know, it's
Oh, you mean to the decade rather? Huh.
right in
Mhm.
the decade, yeah. And it is interesting that the oldest house in Inglewood is registered at 4226 South Bannock Street. It's according to, and Melinda, you are absolutely right. Scarrett House was built in 1864. And according to this here, 4226 South Bannock Street was built in 1860. It's fascinating. And that doesn't even look like architecture that would be appropriate to that era.
No, it does not. It's interesting. Maybe out of that one.
I question that.
I think you are right to question that.
Oh, wasn't there a neighbor house of yours that's listed in here, Matt?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Sure.
Brand new
The
construction.
wrong picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should,
It's right here. Right here.
One
20
Right
across
here.
the street from me, that one 3024 South Lincoln. That one 1890, which does seem, I mean, that A-frame type of a house also doesn't quite seem like 1890, but
It could be.
Could
This
be,
one
yeah.
here? This one here is, you're saying 3024 South Lincoln?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be,
that's
but
more
that
believable.
it is more believable. But the detail above the porch is not very typical to that. But if you scroll to
No.
the top of this page, wait, which one was the one? Or
Next
bottom?
week,
Next page.
down, yeah.
I remember the guy that built that house. He actually tore the old house down by hand.
It was a full scrape.
It was a full scrape, but I question if it was ever recorded. That may have been something where he kind of just did it and may not have gotten the appropriate approvals.
Interesting.
Because he spent probably 2 years building that. He did it pretty well.
Oh, you could couldn't you put it under year of remodel and then you give him the date?
Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm just looking up the county records here for the 40. What is it? 4226.
4226 South Bannock.
Yeah, that I'm looking at the assessor's office right now. Here
Mhm.
it comes up as.
I don't know, that's a typical vernacular house of the,
See, I would have thought that was, yeah, but I don't know. It's like what I call the old miners' houses,
yeah.
The toilet would have been out in the backyard.
Well, that was true actually of a lot of the houses in our neighborhood. When I used to live up on Logan Street, my next door neighbor told me, in a lot of them you could see an extra green spot in the backyard, which is where the outhouse used to be.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
It does in fact say on Arapahoe County assessor's office that heat method is forced air unit. It has central air, and the year built was 1860. That's got to be a typo. That has got to be a typo. You're talking. I mean, that's probably 1900, but maybe 1890.
1890, yeah.
Forced air.
But yeah, because at that point, 1890, they wouldn't have had forced air. They would have had gravity air, right? You'd probably have gravity furnace. And that chimney looks pretty well typical of something that's not a fireplace, but actually some sort of coal
Vent.
like a coal chimney of sorts. That's got to be a typo on this property. There's just, I can't believe this to be 1860. It also lines up with the property lines way too close. The area of Inglewood that Melinda and I are in was originally plotted in 1890. That's when the traditional 50-foot, 25-foot increment lots were laid out, and the streets were laid out right around 1890 on our side of town. And this is 42, so this is way south.
Mhm.
I just find it hard to believe that a house built in 1860 would line up with the property lines as perfectly as it does.
I think you're probably onto something, Matt.
Good point.
Okay, well, how would you guys like to address that kind of discrepancy? We can do a bit more digging at,
The information that's
Is that
Yeah,
what the
that's-
county says is 1860?
Yeah, but it also says there was a remodel in 2016, so, but yeah, the
Well-
property lines are the suspicious part of it there. Not necessarily the form of the house.
I would say I would put it in the category of year built in the same era here of 18, late 1800s, early 1900s, but I don't think we can call this 1860. This takes away too much emphasis from, the one down below, this one here, I know where this house is, 3205 South Fox. It's a really cool property, and it is a big property. And you look at that and you go, yep, 1880, that makes sense.
That was a farm. Yeah.
That was a farm, exactly. It doesn't line up with anything around it, and the only reason why the lot's as big as it is probably because the house is, set, off of the property lines that would be traditional in the area.
Mhm.
Then the big tree in the front yard. It's that makes me feel like 1880. This doesn't, this other one. So I don't know.
I totally agree.
It's inaccurate.
That's
Got
okay. You can look into it. That'd be awesome. At least move the Scarrett House to number 1 positioning. And then I was curious, could you go down just because I forgot? 1940s, I just curious. There's one
Yeah.
at Arapahoe Acre House in here, isn't there?
Cool. Ah. Alright.
No, huh? The last one?
Oh my goodness.
There were 50
Alright.
homes built in the 50s.
Well, 1949 was when he bought the land, so it wasn't really done until 1950s. So nothing since was,
30.
oh, wow.
here we go.
What's happening when you're doing that? 1940s, the last one?
We ends in 50. Oh,
59.
Wait,
to
stop.
77. Oh, sorry. I thought
okay.
you were looking to the end. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
1950.
Well, and these are just example houses. They're not all of the houses that,
Yeah, but if it's the one historic district that does exist in Inglewood, we should have
Yeah.
at least one.
well, it is mentioned
Arapahoe
in the
Acres
historic
house here.
district.
Can you go down to 1950?
Mm-hmm. Try and do this without. Here.
Because we've lost houses, right?
Mhm.
So there are none. There's not even one house from Arapahoe Acres. I just throw it out. Not to
Well,
be meaning Arapahoe
make-
Acres.
Make a
Just-
make a recommendation, CJ. What house in Arapahoe Acres would be appropriate? What's the first one in Arapahoe Acres? What's the one that he lived
The
in?
first house, 3000 South Marion is the first house that was built and sold in Arapahoe Acres under Sternberg, the architect.
Well, good. That's probably the most appropriate and to put in there, right?
Right. That's what got the whole development moving forward, even though it got changed and the architect left.
Okay. That was 3000 South Marion.
Yeah, I'm double, triple checking my my address here. East Bates, South Marion. And the address is. Huh. I thought if you went in far enough, it just told you what the address was. Okay. 2900 South Marion, sorry. 2900 South Marion Street.
Okay. What else can we look at?
I think that's all I recall from the amendments, unless anybody else has any other input.
I was thinking it was 3 or 4, but 3 sounded right.
Okay, and like I said, I'll go back through our notes here and see if I can't locate anything from Ashley, and I'll maybe circle back with Eric and see if we can't locate those. But I've got these revisions noted, and we'll definitely make sure that those are included in the final report.
Okay, can we hop
Thanks,
back over?
Sean.
Can we hop back over to the slide deck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just real quickly, if we want to, how many slides are there total? 27.
27.
So we can just bounce through these really quickly and see if anything kind of jumps out.
Okay, why don't I put it in? Does that look a little bit better? That way we can see what that presentation actually looks like.
Yep, looks good.
Okay. Our basic acknowledgement slide.
Nope, go back.
And
over.
Lauren, oh, that was funny. Lauren's name was misspelled up there.
Oh,
under
yes, it
Historic
is.
Preservation Commission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we have everybody on here?
Can I ask a question? How come under elected officials, what's his name? The previous council member, how come he's not underneath there? Because we started that with him here. Come on, we
Dave
wrote him a
Cuesta?
letter.
Dave Cuesta?
Huh? Yeah. Why wouldn't he be listed? Wasn't he part of that original decision to move forward with this? Do you remember, Jason?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just reflecting the current makeup. I mean, or could put it, suggestion, put it on there. I'm not sure.
And just put former in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Okay.
appropriate.
What was that gentleman's name?
Dave Cuesta.
Cuesta.
See you. Yeah, C is in
Yeah.
Charlie.
Cuesta. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
See you. And also everybody, are we missing anybody on this list here? Mary,
I don't think so. I mean, I think these were all the people that were here at that time.
Actually, I think that started before Hannah
Hannah, that's right.
came on.
Hannah's not on here.
But she
She's
still gets
listed as
acknowledged.
Mary Miles.
Mary
Yeah.
Miles. That's why that.
Why
is
is Hannah listed as Mary Miles?
Because that's her name.
Yeah, she
Really?
prefers to go by Hannah, but her name is Mary Miles.
Oh, what a riot.
I don't think we need to be this nitpicky about this.
No, I was
This
just curious. I didn't know anything about that.
I just want to
It
make
was
sure
just
that,
Lauren's
I mean,
typo.
obviously Lauren's name is misspelled. It's nice to recognize the former council member that was the liaison to the commission. And it would be a little embarrassing if we were there in front of council and somebody was missing from our list. All right, so let's go through this real fast and we only need just enough time to kind of glance over everything.
Okay. So yeah, summary of public outreach and engagement, and then a few slides kind of with some visualization showing survey results and a couple of word clouds.
One thing that she was really nice about presenting was that her past history did not include as much involvement as our cities seem to provide. And that was really nice to hear. So I don't know about your personal relationships, Sean, with these type of investigations, but when you have, if there's any chance that's true for you, that'd be nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. It can definitely incorporate some of that. I do a lot of, I haven't worked with this particular HPC, but I've done quite a lot of work in Northern Colorado, especially with smaller rural communities and doing these larger reconnaissance surveys, but definitely can make that connection. So yeah, like I said, just a few pages of survey results. And these were all generated from the, I believe the survey that was pushed out to the community. And then, yeah, here's our reconnaissance survey table. I can see already we'll want to change this background image to reflect the revisions that we're going to make.
Oh, you're so good, Sean. Thank you.
12. Slide 12. Photo, okay. Just quickly moving through. This is kind of an interesting series of slides that shows, you know, kind of as you progress through them, the distribution of construction. Kind of the parcels by decade map. That extends it out. It's pretty neat. And then just a summary of the archival records search that occurred. Some cool Sanborn photos and whatnot. Just a summary of repositories that were utilized for the report, or for the historic context in the report.
One thing I was curious about, there was a question at that meeting about someone that might have pictures or information that they have that has never been submitted. Since this is going out hopefully to more people, what would someone do if they happen to have archival records? Where would they go? What would they do with what they have?
In my experience, like if there's, you know, most communities have like a local, like a small history museum that often will host those types of collections that you know, has worked with an that will work with an HPC to incorporate some of that information. But really, there's no formal process. It kind of is pretty situational, and some of that is like, you know, the family heirlooms. So it's like they go on loan, but don't necessarily want to be given up entirely. Or if they want to host them at home, it's just like making the local, like the Historic Preservation Board, aware that those resources are out there. So when these survey projects are undertaken, whoever is actually conducting them can be put into contact with those community members. But yeah, there's not really a formal process to it. A lot of the institutional, a lot of it relies on that institutional knowledge, unfortunately.
Because I was just even thinking, making it digital nowadays, who would they even go to, you know?
There are services that will digitize.
Oh, no. I mean, like if they happen to have the plot workout of their grandmother's house that they now live in from the 1890s, 1900s, where would they physically go with that work? And the idea, oh, I don't want to turn it in, but you can take a picture of it for something.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not really sure.
Let's keep moving through the slides if we can here, so we can.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's totally fine.
Yep. So then these are the survey priorities that were identified within the final report. And I believe each of these were given like a ranking of like high, medium, low, or immediate, high, medium, low. And we'll summarize all of that. And then I think this is kind of more of the cool, these are neat resources that want to be elaborated on, right? These are some of the nicer, not nicer, but more significant resources within the community.
And I see, look at your screen on that one too. It had the Scarrett House 1911. I mean, if you want to do that addendum.
That definitely needs to be corrected.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to, I mean, I don't know if this is a graphic that was done separately where you could replace the images or not, but it'd be nice to have a picture of that. Built in 1864.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. That was slide 23. Excellent. Okay. And then, yeah, just moving through, there's a quick discussion of the potential historic districts identified. And then, oh, this is like recommended next steps, and a section for the underrepresented histories that were identified. And then our next steps in the discussion.
And obviously the title of this particular page actually is still listed here.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and that's yep, that's it. So yeah, besides those handful of edits, any other comments, questions, concerns?
One, be aware that city council has a really short attention span. And also, are we going to put in that demolitions map, the same study session?
Eric, how much time do we have set aside?
Whether there's time set aside, it is sort of making the point of why have a historic survey to begin with, or why we want to capture this information.
Kind of dovetailing into that, Eric. What's our time? What's our allotted time for this?
20 minutes for presentation, 15 for Q&A.
Sean, how long do you think it's going to take to go 27 slides in 20 minutes?
Like I said, I think it's going to be tight to get through everything. But you know, we can emphasize other, you know, certain aspects of the presentation more so than others. I think there's some slides that will go relatively quickly.
Like
you know,
the decade maps. Yeah. Those could go
exactly, and those are even better
We've
when you
already
click through
seen
them.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you click through them a little bit quicker, it's a little bit more interactive. It shows that development, you know, so that knocks 5 off right off the bat. And
Can we include?
But real quick, the chronology, which I think is really good, is when we were figuring out what are our objectives, what's our mission, what's our logo, what, all that different stuff. Melinda looked into the demolitions. We didn't start the maps in this type of, well, what do we have before? We looked at what are we losing first. So maybe Melinda, I don't know if you want to present it, but that it is your baby. Maybe even if it's just one slide, to just say, this was what brought up the question, what we were losing, what do we have? And then you introduce Sean. What do you think about that?
We'd be willing to do that, yeah.
Works for me. I mean, it would literally be a slide in your slide deck, Sean. You okay with that?
yeah, absolutely. I have no ownership over this, so I'm happy to basically whatever you guys want to see. I'm happy to do everything I can to accommodate.
Do you mind, Melinda, sending it to him with it? I think you had a couple corrections in your thing too, right? Oh yeah, because it was going to overlay the current neighborhood maps.
Well, no, it does overlay the current neighborhood maps.
Okay.
It does. What I would be nice is to compare it to the zoning. But that I haven't managed to do that. It's or I can certainly verbally say, like the hardest hit areas are the ones that are zoned as R2. And so they're being scraped off and duplexes built in their place. They further south, there are bigger lots, but they're all zoned R1, so they're not being scraped as fast.
I don't think it's
How
bad
about
having.
this?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I don't think it's bad having it overlaid over the neighborhood map thing, but not. It'd be nice if it was the later version of it. Hopefully, Madeline could maybe send. Madeline could send a map over to you, and that you.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you have a PDF or any you know, any kind of image, we can incorporate it into the slide deck.
Yeah, it is a PDF. In fact, because Eric sent it to all of you.
Well, Eric, just resend it to Sean, do you mind?
Yep, I can forward that to Sean.
Awesome.
And here's my thought on how this would flow: is maybe insert, you know, the slide right before this intro page here, and just Melinda, you know, and so.
But you know what I'm thinking? Sorry, but
Yeah, go ahead.
Even though it's Melinda's baby, maybe she could stand next to you. Matt, you're the president, I mean, or the chair, maybe. you
Yeah.
should Be the one who's getting it started. You know, just to keep it short and sweet, make sure Melinda's recognizes as the person pulling that together and, you know, what she found. And then blah, right into Sean.
That's fine. I'm okay with Melinda presenting it, or I can do it. I mean, the 10th, I should be fine with the 10th now.
You're better at being diplomatic than I am, Matt.
Okay, well, appreciate that. October 10th, yeah, I shouldn't have any issue with being in October 10th. And actually, you know, I'm looking at the demolition map now. It actually looks really good. I mean, it's, I don't think there's a whole lot of change that has to necessarily happen with that. It looks really
But you
good.
got the demolition map, the city neighborhoods, and then this, right?
Perfect. Good. It's great. I'd say send it over to Eric, if you could send because this was the one you sent on August 23rd. So I think this is the latest one. So if you could send that over to Sean.
Okay, I'll forward it right now.
We just put in the slide before. We'll do a general introduction of Historic Preservation Commission, working on a lot of things, whatever. The historic plan is what we're presenting tonight. But before we get started, you know, this is the reason why we felt this necessary.
There we go. And you know what's interesting is I don't see our little HPC logo anywhere.
You're right. We don't.
Oh, yeah. If you guys got a logo that you'd like to include, definitely. If you wouldn't mind forwarding that as well, I can definitely include that.
Okay, Eric, you got that too?
Yep, I can
Lost
send that
Eric.
too.
If you don't, I do.
What time are we meeting at on the 10th? That's Columbus Day or Indigenous Day? That doesn't matter. That's not a federal holiday or anything.
That is not a city holiday. I believe it starts at 6.
1800. Okie dokie.
Cool. All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else on this, I think we've gone over quite a bit, and I feel pretty comfortable. How's everybody else feel?
I just want to make sure if Jason's comfortable.
Nope. Yeah, looks good.
Okay. I'll be there at the presentation. Melinda will be there. I think Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, open meeting stuff. 3 people are allowed.
I'll try.
2.
But
What?
this is already like a public meeting though, so it's not,
That's true.
yeah. Don't hear.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. Anybody else want to attend? I'll be there. Melinda, you'll be there. CJ?
Yep.
Yeah, I hope so. I have it on my calendar.
Jason? Well, Jason, come on. You'd be great resource.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. I can be there.
How many seats do we have at the table, Eric?
Sorry,
I
I'm
don't
hopping
mind
back and forth
sitting
trying to
there.
send Sean this stuff. You got two seats at the table.
2 seats at the table.
The rest of us will just sit back there, look intimidating.
All right.
Or just really knowledgeable.
All right, so 2 seats at the table, one for Sean and one for, I guess, one for someone with HPC. Okay, that
For
works.
you.
All right, cool, that works. Thank you, Eric. Sorry, you're bouncing around there. I'm pretty good with the signing things, I guess, so keeping you busy. Anyway, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try and get these revisions taken care of. If not this week, definitely by the end of next week, and I'll get that all over to Eric, coordinate and make sure everything looks good. And yeah, I appreciate everybody's time, and it was really nice meeting everyone. And thanks for trusting me to hand off, and we'll make sure that this all goes really well.
All right, thank you.
If you have any questions,
Thanks.
you can get back to us also, that or Eric can, but
Okay. I appreciate it, Melinda. Thank you very much.
Right.
Awesome.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Sean.
take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item, neighborhood maps update. Madeline, I think you have exciting news about this, right? I don't think we talked about it a little bit at the last meeting, but I think this has to do with kind of the progress with the stylized map, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a ton of, I think it's exciting. I'm not sure what you guys are all expecting, but I was just going to give a super quick overview about what we've done since the map was adopted by council in June of this year, which seems like so long ago. So since it was adopted in June, we've really been focusing on getting the map out to the community. We've gone to special events, we've brought the map to neighborhood nights, and we're really just asking community members, you know, where do they live? And we really want them to identify what neighborhood that they live in. Since then, we also created an illustration of the map. I'm going to see if I can share my screen with you. I'm hoping you have seen it, but we'll see. Can you see this?
I can see it.
Yes, so this is the illustration of the map. So you can see all of the neighborhoods are outlined with their names, and then we did significant places. And most of them are historical. And so we had an illustrator illustrate all of them. And this is the map that's going out to the community. And I can't really make it any smaller, otherwise you can't see. But this has been received very well by residents and community members. And I think I love the GIS map, but this is just a great way and a fun way to look at it and really identify where you live. So we do that. We've done that. And this is available for community members for free. We've printed a lot out. They're at the Civic Center, the Malley Center, and the Rec Center. So anyone is welcome to pick one up, and then they are also downloadable on our website. Since then, we've also, we've updated our Inglewood Engaged page and launched a social media campaign called Welcome to Your Neighborhood, again, with the goal of having residents identify where they live or where they work. And this is the page that hubs everything. This is the GIS map. One of our next steps that we want to do with this is update the history. So when someone, searches for their neighborhood, all of this will pop up, but also the updated history. I got that document from Eric. There's so much history in there, it's amazing. So we just want to copy and paste it all in this map, so residents can learn about where they live and the history that has been in their neighborhood for a long time. Let's see. And along with this effort of Welcome to Your Neighborhood, we're looking to engage neighbors and neighborhoods, asking for neighborhood group leaders to sign up, and also getting neighborhoods registered with the city, just so we have contacts in each neighborhood if something, a project is happening, or we have questions, just having that open line of communication. And then we've started the process of starting to get quotes and installing, hopefully by the end of the year, a neighborhood sign in a neighborhood, or maybe more neighborhoods, depending on what the timeline looks like with those companies. So that is the update that I have. Is there anything else you were thinking of, Matt?
No, I just wanted to, kind of get an official kind of status update on it. I know during one of the previous meetings, I was able to show everybody kind of the stylized map, but there wasn't a whole lot of background on it. And apparently Sean wanted something that could be like framed type thing. Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's so cool. You can just, you can print it out and frame it. And we have this with all of the icons, and actually on the Inglewood Engage page, you could do it without the icons also.
Mm-hmm.
If you just wanted the basic map. But it looks nice, and it's just been really well received. So
really cool. That's really cool.
I was curious again, just like what I asked Sean, if someone comes up and they live in, let me see. I was thinking someone has a house that was actually moved from the Cinderella City area because of the building there, and it was moved to Jackson Heights or something. That kind of information, or those individual information where someone has pictures of their plots or an old photo or something like that, would that be submitted to you and downloaded in that section? Or
that's a great idea.
I mean?
That is something that we could put on the Inglewood Engaged page, just as a tool down here. If anyone had any type of pictures or any history comments, they could leave those, and then we would get an alert that they've been sent in. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
also a way.
Well, now,
preserve the
Paul
history.
Stasinski from the historic Inglewood lives in a house that was moved off of Cinderella City.
That's very
Yes.
cool.
Yes, he's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
He
really cool.
probably has the information too.
So, the block party, it was interesting with people's reactions to this at the block party. It all seemed very positive from what I was told. So that's great news.
That is, and we've brought this map into, into a lot of special events, and I've received such great feedback also.
Great.
It's fun to watch people. We bring like little stickers. It's fun to watch people find where they live and put a sticker on their neighborhood. And hopefully they remember that name. That's the goal. So
So
And when you talk about signs for the neighborhood, what are you talking about?
I was just gonna ask that. Yeah.
yeah, Matt, that might be, do you want to jump ahead to the Forest Hill?
No, I think we'll wait on that. Actually, as I laid out this agenda now, I realized that it's kind of the order. I could have moved the order around a little bit more to be
No, it's all
more
good.
good for everybody's time. But we will talk a little bit at the end about the signage, the custom signage, and I do want to get your take on that, Madeline. But in the meantime, other signage like toppers, I know that they looked
Yeah.
at doing street sign toppers. I don't think that's the same thing as the folks in Forest Hills.
So it could be the same thing, I guess.
All right, you want to wait until the end there and see?
Sure. If you want to keep it on that agenda item, I can give you an overview
Yeah.
of the neighborhood signage process and things like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that, and let's do that. That makes more sense, I think.
Okay, let's do that.
Jump ahead.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, any other questions from the commission?
Oh, I
yeah,
do know there was
the,
one guy. Oh, sorry,
ahead.
Melinda.
Go ahead, Melinda.
the history document that you're uploading into that, is that the stuff that Lauren came up with last meeting?
Eric, do you know? Eric sent it to me. I'm not sure if Lauren came up with it or where it came from.
Well,
to be
because
honest.
Lauren was working on a neighborhood history document. And
Yeah, that was
I
that was
sent her
Lauren.
some items in revision on it, but I'm not sure what version of it got to Eric. I thought Lauren was still working on it. And I don't know whether anyone else sent her anything on it.
I believe what she gave me is what I had forwarded to Madeline. I think it's still a work in progress, but that is what she had done so far.
Okay.
CJ, you had a question?
Oh, no, just a statement. At one of the Christmas things at the Malley Center last year, the year before, there was a gentleman that actually has T-shirts that state Inglewood is my hood or something. And I said, hey, when we get into these neighborhood things, would you be willing to put the neighborhood underneath or something like that? And he said he would. So I'm sure somewhere I have his contact info. I'll pass on to you, Madeline. But I was thinking that would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
that sounds great.
You could totally put that on a T-shirt. That would look great on a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I mean, yeah, just this whole map on the back or something. I mean, he already has a design on the front, but anyway. Yeah.
All right, well, great. Anything else? Okay, cool. Moving on to the next new business, HBC website discussion with communications. And I believe, I'm sorry, your name is Lucia?
Yes, Lucia Magnuson.
Okay.
I am the web and digital content strategist for the city of Inglewood. I'm in the communications department with Madeline. And really, I'm just here to take a look at your website that you have right now and just see if there's anything we can add to it to reach the goals that you have for this commission or any relevant information. I know I got I got some stuff while I was listening to you guys talking about the presentation. So let me share my screen just so you can see what you already have. And let me make this bigger for you too, hopefully. Oh, is it bigger?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, so right now you have a link to Inglewood history, a link to the Inglewood Historic Preservation Society, the historic photo gallery, and the Moments in History videos. I've also included a link to your meeting, so it will show the top 3 meetings that are upcoming, and it will continuously update as they keep rolling through the year. And then you just have your intro paragraph. And then you also had an events section over on the side. I don't know if you want to keep that, but from what I was hearing in the presentations before, one thing we could do if we add that link to the Inglewood Engage page for the map, if people want to submit some historical documents, we could have a link to that here. We could also just have some information on if people want to digitize their records and how they would go about doing that. We can also link the survey results to your most recent survey. We can add the HPC logo, and we can also just include a link to the neighborhood map, or just put the neighborhood map on the website. But really, I'm here as your consultant and just what you want to achieve with your website.
Those links sound really good. I'm also going to say more people interested in historic preservation are over a certain age. What font size are you guys using?
So standard font sizes is 12. Really, we have it where you can increase font size on the web page just by clicking this button, which of course my computer is going to stop working the second I do that. But standard font size is 12. But it really depends on how big you have your browser once you're viewing it.
So I do like the idea of just information rather than the term events. The one thing I think would be cool is what are we concentrating on now?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Melinda's demolition thing should be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, what are we working on now? Basically, just a section talking about the topics you guys are working on.
The Demolition Index, if we want to call it that. Is that still a good name to call it? Inglewood Demolition Index?
I don't know. What is, but maybe planning committee has a name for it already.
And we can also, with the archival records, we can also just ask the library if they have like a standard process that they want people to go through to submit historical photos to the historic photo gallery through the library. We can also do that.
Scheisse, that's wonderful.
Yeah, because I know they have their historic photo gallery and they are submitted by the community. So we'll just have to figure out how exactly they want us to handle that.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to, definitely nice to put Melinda's map up there and at least the data associated with it.
Okay, sounds good.
Melinda, what do you want to call your map?
I think what it is labeled demolitions. That one is only from 2018 forward.
Okay.
But
It could be called demolition study or
or
demolition.
just call it, yeah, recent demolitions.
Yeah, recent demolition. Okay.
It depends on what recent means, right, to some people. Oh.
How do
Well,
we?
yeah, if you're a geologist, it means anytime in the last 10,000 years.
Lucia, what's the process if we want to have something added to the page?
So really just email me. We do have a submission system, but if you're just forwarding information, just email me and I'll make sure that it gets on there.
If I could ask a big favor, just on that box thing where it says Inglewood History, Inglewood Historic Preservation Society, that has a different name now. Historic Photo Gallery and Moments in History. If those fonts or presentation could be bigger, because the view here, learn here, it doesn't show up for me very well, but
Yeah,
know, a
I'm
lot of
trying
people
to
are more
increase my
savvy than I am.
size. Oh, there we go.
The page,
There we go.
Because it's weird. You say that's 12. Is on the left side 12 too?
Yeah, and again, it's relevant to how big you have your screen. You can zoom in and make it smaller, but I'll triple check. I'll make sure.
okay. And the Inglewood Historic Preservation Society, the CJ just called us out. I didn't notice this. We've recently changed our name to Historic Inglewood.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll adjust that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, and then I was curious, is Inglewood, the city of Inglewood, available at all for historic Inglewood for their web stuff? Or do you feel very comfortable with Lindsay, the way things are going, Matt?
Oh, I think we're good for now, and I don't think, considering Historic Inglewood's a private organization, we probably couldn't have the city work on stuff for us. It'd be nice, but
I did talk to Lindsay about it because she was looking into updating that website and just what resources we had. So I've been in talks with her.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just to give her some resources behind it.
that would be helpful. The website was created very quickly about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Out of necessity. And it
Yeah, but we still went ooh and ah when it happened.
yeah, but it was definitely something very quick. And I told everybody at the time, I'm like, I'm not a web designer, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this sort of thing. And but this will get us by for a couple of years, and 10 years later it's still the same site. So
Yeah, and one of those things with web design, usually it's around 3 years is the life of a design for a website, and then usually it's time to have something new.
Yeah, so I appreciate you talking to Lindsay about that. That's we're definitely in need of guidance and help and whatnot, but just
Yeah, of course.
at least just input and suggestions. So
Yeah. All right, sounds good. So we'll remove some of this events information, and then we'll add just how to input archival records. Maybe put some information up on how to digitize link survey results. As this information comes in, just email me and I'll make sure to update this website.
cool. All right.
Sounds good.
Keep you posted.
At some future date, when we are allowed to do it, it would be nice to have like a form for apply for a historic neighborhood designation or a or for a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, once you guys are ready, I can build the form and get that all set up.
Well, we've been ready for some time. We just haven't got the council to approve it.
Oh, got it. Once council approves it, let me know and I'll help build it.
Okay.
All right, easy
Alrighty.
enough.
Any other questions for Lucia? Okay, good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
All righty, moving on to the next topic, which is the Forest Hills neighborhood signage. Put this on the agenda as actually had a discussion with at the block party from one of the members of Forest Hills, and apparently there is a process they kind of created to nominate somebody from their area. Madeline, you'll have to help me out with this, but as I understand, voting on and nominating somebody from their area to create custom signage for their area. Is that right?
Yes. I would say it's more of a logo that they held a contest.
Okay.
Can I start from the beginning though? Can
Please
I
do.
show you some
Please.
things? Okay, sounds good. So last year there was some money set aside for neighborhood signage. And we decided to put that on the back burner until the neighborhood map was complete and adopted by council. So now that it has been adopted by council, we can start designating or we can start implementing some neighborhood signage. So here is what has gone out. We excuse all of the white areas. Some of the signs were just not working for us. And so that's how they've been deleted, as you can see. So we worked with a company and they designed certain signs for us and certain toppers or just toppers. So you can see that there's different options that we have gone to the companies to bid on. And these would be the neighborhood signs that neighborhoods could vote on, put their name on here, and then they would be installed by the city and things like that. So I reached out to Forest Hill because we are starting our neighborhood, you know, we're just starting this process, and they were a very engaged neighborhood. And I asked them if they wanted to be our guinea pigs throughout this process to figure out, you know, if we were missing things and everything like that. So they have registered their neighborhood. They went through the process of, instead of just choosing one of these signs, they actually wanted to create a logo. So the idea would be to put the logo that has been created on one of these signs, if that makes sense. So it's a really awesome logo. And they sent us a couple options. And right now, honestly, we're just waiting for bids from sign companies. Things are very backed up, it seems. And so once we get those bids, we want to get a sign installed really as soon as we can, because winter is coming in Forest Hill. So to get a sign, I mean, they just went through the process of getting their neighborhood registered and filling out an application. We just asked that people or neighborhoods include the location of the signs or signs that they would like. Then I work with the neighborhood group leaders to figure out just sign options. And then the idea would be we actually send a door hanger to everyone in the neighborhood to let them know that a neighborhood sign was coming and that we really, or the neighborhood wanted to get their input. And if anyone wanted to submit a design, they were welcome to do that. And then the goal moving forward is just to always have the neighbors involved in picking out a sign, whether they do a design contest, if that's feasible moving forward, or if they're picking out one of the signs, the cookie cutter signs that we have, that we'll have, you know, displayed for them.
So I'm curious, all I was thinking of was something that would go on a stop sign or something that the speed sign and you're entering Cushing Park, or I mean, these other signs, what really what do you call it, hesitates me, whatever's the right word, is because of the differences of the involvement of the different neighborhoods. So there's going to be some that have nothing, which doesn't, I mean, it seems like we should have a base similarity for everybody.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
sorry, CJ, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You know, that's kind of where I was thinking was, I mean, just like Denver did, you know, when you walk through, you know, this is Baker neighborhood because it says it's Baker neighborhood or whatever. And then my question would be then, how many signs are you putting up in the neighborhood? Are you putting it on every street? Are you putting it on a major street? Are you putting it at the end of the borders of that street? I'm just curious because all I can picture is how much that's going to cost, much less the idea of getting into the bigger one on its own.
That is very true. So right now we're really waiting for the sign companies to come back with quotes on how much these signs would cost. So these are the toppers, which maybe this is what you're referring to. I don't know if Denver does this, but these are just on top of street signs. So when you're walking around, you would know like I am in Cushing Park neighborhood because they're on the top of the streets. And so in regard to address your question about where they would be, that's in the application. And again, just something that we're working through right now with figuring out, you know, the cost and how many signs are feasible and what are the major gateways into the neighborhood to ensure that, you know, everyone is seeing these signs and it's registering to them like, oh my gosh, I'm in Arapahoe Acres or I'm in Sturders Broadway Heights. So we are working through that right now.
Can you scroll down to number 2 and number 3? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting. And then 3 is
They're all quite similar, actually. Like option 1 is all similar, option 2 and option 3, according to the designer. So,
right. And these entry signs, like option 1 or option 2 or option 3. I mean, those how many of those would be posted in each corner of the, or you just don't know yet?
we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
Right now, it could be 1. Or it could be more, and depending on what comes back, maybe we do something smaller. We're just not sure yet, but this is where we are in the process.
Right. I like, I personally, I mean, it's not that I have any input on this part of it, but the street topper with the kind of curved top there, Romans Park, that one
This
right
one?
there.
Yeah.
That's kind of my favorite. So
Yeah.
The other thing that hits me is that this is going to be prime for people to steal, right? I mean, replacement may have to be an issue, huh?
well, people steal street signs all the time. I'm sure that's.
But you know what they did in Glendale, Arizona, that I thought was fascinating, was they went ahead and offered you the ability to buy it. You know, hey, we're making a whole bunch of them and you can buy one your own.
Interesting.
It was just an idea. I thought it was a cool way to prevent theft. Was
Yeah.
go ahead,
Well,
buy it.
the street name toppers would be harder to steal. Just because they're not right. And the thing that occurs to me is that these others are going to be on in somebody's yard on a private property if they're like on a corner going in, whereas the street name ones are on public property because they're on the street sign.
All pain points we have to work through. But that is a great point.
Well, we'd have to get permission from the homeowner to
Of course.
put
Yeah.
a sign there. So
An easement of some sort of city easement.
Well, and I was about to say, if it's not an easement, then they say, oh, I don't want this anymore. They pull it out. You know?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, this is fantastic. This is really neat. Now, what is Forest Hills working on with that? That's the logo or what?
So they held a contest. I worked with the neighborhood group leader there, and they put together an email and a door hanger. And then the door hanger was distributed and the email was distributed just to ensure that, you know, everyone in the neighborhood and according to their new boundaries were aware of this contest. And they just made it open to everyone that they were possibly getting a neighborhood sign and that they were looking for a design for the sign. And then honestly, I don't know how many came in, but they sent us a couple to finalize. Good. If the company that we're working with is able to do that. So
this would be separate, different from this. The designs you're showing here are more kind of, this is commissioned by the city. So the ones for their neighborhood would be different.
They
well,
want them
the
on
ones,
this.
yeah, I would say like their design would just go on the sign.
Oh, okay.
Does that make, like they would choose one of these signs?
I see. Okay.
And that is the way that it's been envisioned.
Okay. Cool. No, I think it's pretty fantastic. It's pretty neat stuff. So what did Nick do this one, or whoever the sign creator was that for this city or the sign, the designer that, you know what I'm talking about, not Wooded Nook. What was the other one?
No, but we did send them the wayfinding and placemaking plan because we wanted them to tie in, just with all the new signage that's all being installed throughout the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Well, if you guys have any other questions or you want to get your neighborhood registered and apply for a sign, I'll have Eric send all that information to you.
Cool. Belinda?
Thanks.
Yeah, we can start with Strayer's Broadway Heights.
Sounds good.
Yay.
Or Arapahoe Acres. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We have our own signs already.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Well, Madeline, thank you for the
Yes.
report and the update.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, moving on to the next topic, staff's choice. Eric?
I sent out an email earlier this week, just letting you know about the Past Forward conference that's coming up. If you'd like to attend, let me know and I can register you. And that's really all I had.
Okay. Brian, do you have anything? Your staff offer you the opportunity to.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, what do you look like? Oh, thank you.
All right, well, thanks for that. Moving on to Commissioner's Choice. I don't have anything at the moment to present or to comment on, so I'll go around the
Nothing's happening with the historic Colorado as far as a presentation or anything?
historic Inglewood. We're still working on getting the next speaker. You know, we had a good momentum going there, and COVID kind of upset that a little bit, so we're getting back on track with that and finding a new place to have our lectures and new speakers and all that. So we don't have one at the moment, but we're looking at one here soon, hopefully.
Thanks. Just wondered.
Yep. All right, Cash, do you have anything to report?
I do not. Thank you.
Yep. Melinda?
No, nothing new.
Okay. Jason?
Nope, nothing here. Thanks.
CJ?
Can you believe it? No.
That was a pretty easy meeting, I guess. So.
Well, I should say Arapahoe Acres with the Inglewood, City of Inglewood grant had a great chalk fest this last Sunday. That was just so fun. And if you know, the rains hit today, so it's like, oh, but boy, some of the artwork that people put together was just amazing.
That's cool. Thank you for that, CJ. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody. It was a good meeting. Moving on to adjourn, and can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Time is 7:54 p.m.
All in favor?
All in favor, say bye.
Bye.
I don't think, Eric, we don't have to vote on. I always forget. We don't have.
Oh, no, we're good. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All righty.
All right.
All right.
See you on the 10th.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.